Palau is set to be the first nation to levy a common ban on sunblock in and force to defend its sensitive coralline pitfalls. The government has signed a law how restricts the selling and use of sunblock, and skin care means how include a listing of 10 various chemical substances. Researchers trust how these product composition are very toxicity to sea lifetime, and can do coralline more than receptive to bleaching. The ban comes in strength in 2020. In a declaration, Palau's CEO Tommy Ramanjisa told the prohibition that would see fines of $1,000, £760, for retailers who disrupted the act, was prompt. This force to seize sunscreens should be quite to retain their non-commercial utilize, and these provision go a clever balance sheet among training tourists and frightening them off. Scientists include been increased concerns on the impacts of sunblock means on sea lifetime for lot year. They are especially concerned about the part of two product composition named oxybenzone and octinoxate. These are utilized as sun protect factors as they consume UV lighting. Oxybenzone is perhaps the baddest artist out of the 10 chemical substances how include been prohibited, told Dr. Craig Downs, and specialist on the impacts of sunscreens on sea lifetime. It causes corals to whiten at reduced temperature, and it reduces their elasticity to environment changing. Lifetime doesn't climb behind in wherever down there are tourists, told Dr. Downs. This youthful stage of coralline are more than receptive to chemistry contamination rather than adults. How's why we see these areas not upcoming behind? They are coralline reef zombies. Just the adults are leftward, and he's just a question of period up they come. Researchers say how the largest risk to coralline pitfalls is environment changing, in estimates how 90% of pitfalls will die to growing temperature by 2050. The other largest risk is the stifling risk delivered by alga blooms, caused by the effluent of nutritional of wastewater and agriculture. Sunblock is now seen as one of a quantity of some inferior threats consisting sea acidation. It has been alleged how among 6,000 to 14,000 tons of sunblock clean off human beings and go in reef areas each year. Researchers say how several thousand sun protect means include the two largest menacing chemical substances. 5 years ago it was alleged to be in about 75% of means. Expert now say he's found in on part of creams and lotions. Order now the U.S. convention is looking at law to ban oxybenzone, relying on the risk it poses to humane public health. Palau is arranged in the west portion of the Silent Sea. It is done up of one big volcano isle and several less coralline reef-related islands. In spite its little amount, it has frequently undertaken big stares in defending the environmental. In 2015, it nominated nearly its whole sea area as a sea-secured area. Really aware of the threats of environment changing, Palau became the other nationality in the planet following Fiji to ratify the Paris Environment Treaty in 2016. While it comes to coralline pitfalls, the isle nationality has substantially avoiding the adverse impacts of wide coast soil erosion of farming, contamination and wild overfishing how include struck pitfalls in another place. The ban on sunblock means Tool Palau is established to struggle any risk to the pitfalls, that are attended by thousands of tourists each year. Professor Jaulier Guidenman, who teaching coralline ecosystems at the College of Southampton, UK, told, it is a reasonable caution to hinder the exposition of the sensitive corals of the capacity threats by sunblock means in these places, yet, pitfalls cannot be stored by prohibiting sunscreens. 1. Down there are more than devastating drivers of reef decrease such as seawater supply heating, overfishing, nutritional enrich and contamination how requirement to be controllable to stop the continuing deterioration of reef ecosystems. Yes, several regions include superimposed bans, consisting the Isle of Bonaire in the Caribbean and the U.S. country of Hawaii that gone a law over the year. Mexico has prohibited sunblock in environment reserves. The Palau limitation is set to be the largest inclusive still, cover 10 chemical substances. They involve 4 persons how include an antibacterial impact but include as well been shown in the research publication to act as endocrinological disruptors. Experts say how many decades of some countries may now see to copy the Palau prohibition. Affirmative. Down there are alternatives. How dong tea involve the two key chemical substances. How are creature marketed as reef safe? But several scientists claim how the period is not juridically practicable, and down there is no coercion on manufacturers to show how their means dong tea damage coralline. Dr. Craig Downs says the at first link of protect versus the sun should be clothes in constructed in sun protect. Of a preservation spot of type, if you carry a sun jacket, you are reduction the sunblock loading by 50%. How's a main preservation win? Else attitude would be to use inorganic based sunblock, such as non-nanosized titanium monoxide or zinc monoxide. Lot of the greater corporations are versus a ban on sunblock means, proverb how the testimony of a harmful effect on coralline is not powerful quite. This big boys are fight it. Johnson & Johnson and L'Oreal Dong Tea appear to be on executive board, told Dr. Downs. Yet lot of the otherwise of the production include already go out in which they are inviting Hawaii compliant sunblock, and it is a big sale increase for them. A team of manufacturers include Shaped which they urge the secure sunblock justice. They welcomed the go. Palau's go to ban product composition how include been aware to reason harm to coralline pitfalls is the order things to make, told Coralline Duel of the Justice. With hope, by Palau take management on the question, not just will they defend their holy and economically key coralline reef web, but they will show the planet how he's period to changing the way we believe. Down there are lot alternatives for sunblock and private thoroughness means how are secure, efficient and pleasant to utilize.